quiero les quiero presentar a Inger. Inger trabaja en Family to Family Network y ella es la coordinadora de los programas para la planeación del futuro. Y en el curso que estamos haciendo hoy, primariamente con Big Little JC, pero sin embargo lo abrimos al público, es un curso, le decimos bilingüe, porque la instructora, la mera es Inger, y yo voy a cumplir la función de que si alguien algo no lo entiende o quiere que se lo aclaren mejor en español, con mucho gusto. Normalmente este curso dura 1 hora, pero lo quisimos extender media hora por si hace falta pararnos un poquito para entender mejor las cosas en español. No sé si aquí todos entiendan al menos un poco de inglés, o si alguien dice, no, sabes que yo no, pues le ayudo un poquito más.
All righty, so you have introduced us, and so we can go ahead and get started. Okay,
yes.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with everyone.
Yes.
So if you can hear it or see it, let me know.
Ok, bienvenidos, y esta es la primera de 3 clases. Esperamos que contar con ustedes una vez a la semana, y cualquier pregunta, por favor, inmediatamente díganos, sobre todo porque a lo mejor algo no entiende. Go ahead, Inger. Bienvenida, Inger. Gracias.
Okay.
Janita is here.
It went right back to the, you know, doing things that, okay, here we go. We're at the welcome. Thank you so much for attending. Okay. So I want to welcome everybody to our small group. Now we have, if you want to break out and you know somebody in your community that wants to start their own group and be a part of, it only takes about 6 members. So you can still come in with another group. But we want to welcome you, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
Just let me translate that to them. Inger lo que nos invita es que este es un grupito que armamos con Big Little JC, primeramente, y pero si alguno de ustedes dice, esto sirve en mi comunidad un poquito más, podemos hacer otro grupo y empezar otra vez las 3 clases en otras fechas, si les parece bien. Bienvenidos y muchas gracias. Okay, go ahead, Inger.
Okay, you know, I want to let everybody know what our mission is, and it's to help families with children with disabilities by providing information, training, referrals, and support. And so I'll let Christina translate that, and then I'll move on to the next.
Bueno, yo creo que muchos de ustedes ya nos conocen. Incluso yo tuve el honor de trabajar desde la fundación de Big Little JC con su asociación. Entonces, por eso algunos me conocen. Ahora estoy trabajando en Family to Family Network, y lo que estamos haciendo es, ya saben, nuestra misión es ayudar a familias de niños o adultos con discapacidad, proporcionándoles información, entrenamiento, refieros y apoyo. Creo que muchos de ustedes ya nos conocen. Yes.
Okay, and then also I wanted to share with you guys our vision, which is our Family to Family Network vision, and it's to share best practices and create better opportunities in education, employment, and independence for persons with a disability by engaging them in the greater Houston community to create a better future for all.
Ajá, exactly. Entonces, bueno, aquí mismo está traducido, si lo quieren ver, nuestra visión. Y bueno, ya nuestra misión es ayudar a las familias con entrenamiento, refieros y apoyos, pero ya la visión va un poquito más arriba, más profundo, que es compartir las mejores prácticas, crear oportunidades de educación, de empleo, independencia para toda la gente con discapacidades, y de forma que toda esa gente se pueda involucrar en la comunidad de todo Houston para crear un mejor futuro.
Okay, so we're going to get started. And the first thing is I want to tell you what our theme is for this whole entire program. It's planning for a good life. Christine, you want to repeat that? So, okay. So everybody
I'm sorry, guys. I'm hearing her. Okay, bueno, sí. Planear para una buena vida. Esta es la primera clase que vamos a tener. Creo que todos por ahí captaron que más o menos ese es el tema. Entonces nos vamos a dedicar a explorar algunas herramientas para que consideremos todos los aspectos que son importantes a la hora de planear el futuro para nuestro ser querido con discapacidad.
Okay, and so did you tell them about the core belief?
Okay, nuestra premisa.
Because I didn't read it. It just says all people have the right to live, love, work, play, and pursue their own life aspirations.
Exacto. Nuestra premisa es que todas las personas tienen derecho a vivir, amar, trabajar, divertirse y perseguir sus propias aspiraciones. Y creo que ustedes en su misión de Big Little JC es lo que hacen todos los días.
Okay, because I want everybody to know that our main goal is to plan for a good life. So, and then, so in the past, most of you know that today individuals with IDD and their families embrace the ideal that people with disabilities have skills, dreams, and feelings like everyone else, and they want to, and they belong with their families. As principles of integration and inclusion are realized, a new generation of young people with disabilities are growing up in the classrooms with their peers, going to college, also getting married. And they're also raising families of their own. Embracing this shift of the pyramid means thinking differently what it means to support individuals and with disabilities and their families. Families have the right to work. They work hard as well as we do. For many years, they have worked to ensure that this system has changed. That is no longer for the institution. They don't think about focusing on that. They focus on now what is called the person-centered system. I don't know if all of you guys have heard of that, but mainly that is where we center on the person with the disability. We don't talk about what is going to need to be in an institution. We talk about how we're going to include them in our daily lives, in our community.
Bueno, como ustedes saben, y no sé si han acudido a algunas otras pláticas anteriores donde se menciona o si saben, sobre todo porque venimos muchos de nosotros de otro país, pero tradicionalmente sabemos que en este país de Estados Unidos, generaciones anteriores mandaban a institucionalizar a las personas con discapacidad, pero hoy en día ya sabemos, bueno, un poco de historia de eso es muy necesario conocerlo, pero hoy en día las personas con cualquier discapacidad pues adoptan y practican la idea de que las personas con discapacidad también tienen sueños, habilidades, sentimientos, queremos y tienen un lugar en su familia. Y a medida que se hacen realidad los principios de integración e inclusión, esa nueva generación de jóvenes con discapacidad crece en las aulas junto con sus compañeros, los hijos de otras personas y nuestros propios hijos que no tienen discapacidad. Van a la universidad, se casan, forman sus propias familias. Entonces, hay que aceptar ese cambio, pero no es tan simple como, ay, es que ahora ya vive conmigo. ¿Qué pasa cuando se gradúan a veces del high school? No queremos que se gradúen para irse a sentar a la sala, al sofá. Entonces, todo eso requiere de desarrollar mucha planeación y muchos procesos. Entonces, aquí nos vamos a centrar en el sistema centrado en la persona y es lo que vamos a tratar. Go ahead, Ingrid. Thank you.
Okay, so while we're working on all these new forms and talking about new things for our young people or children or adults that are now working within the community, we want to focus on the person-centered system. So when we start talking about these, we're talking about them and how we can help them to have a good life. Okay, so when we talk about the person-centered, all thinking and actions are based upon what is important to the person from their own perspective, and that contributes to their full inclusion in society. So that means that each person that we're going to be working with, that person with a disability, we're trying to get them so they'll be able to contribute what is and be included in the daily society, in the community, working in the stores that we go to every day, Walmart, Target, and they may want to work with the school district, things like that. So we're focusing on getting them jobs so they're out in the community and they can be included in society.
Así es, ok. Todo lo que implica centrarse en la persona es que se va a tomar en cuenta todo el pensamiento y las acciones, basarse en lo que es importante para la persona desde su propia perspectiva, la persona con discapacidad. Y lo que sea importante para esa persona contribuye a que sea plenamente incluido en la sociedad. Cuando hablamos, a lo que Inger se refiere es, las personas con discapacidad también pueden trabajar donde nosotros trabajamos, también en cierto grado, cada quien con su discapacidad distinta, pueden trabajar en las mismas tiendas donde todos vamos a comprar y desempeñar muchas de las labores que nosotros hacemos. Eso es estar plenamente incluidos en la sociedad.
Okay, so just remember when we're working on this, we're talking about the person-centered. We're talking about the person with the disability, including them in everything that we do in our day, in their daily lives, that they're out in community. So just remember that when we start working on those forms, you have to think about, you know, what's going to be important to them in order to fit in society and be successful.
Muy bien, siempre pensando en la persona con discapacidad.
Okay, so now we're going to look at, if you think, I'm trying to, I can't really see it. Can you read that part up there? Because it's covering, let me see if I can bring it down.
Yeah, as we start working on your plan, here are some things to think about. Entonces, en lo que vamos a empezar a trabajar en el propio plan de cada uno de ustedes con su miembro de familia con discapacidad, aquí hay algunas cosas en las que hay que ponernos a pensar. Nosotros sugerimos, que es su visión para una buena vida. Go ahead, Inger.
Okay, so for your vision for a good life, this is what we're going to be thinking about. What I want, being supported positively in your life experiences, what I don't want. And you'll see that is one of the things that we'll probably start with first, because most people can think about what they don't want before they even think about what they do want. So when we start working on those paperwork, you can we'll tell you maybe start at the bottom and work with what you don't want. Then you can go back and think about what's positive and what you want to have for your future.
Muy bien. El primerito paso en el que nosotros sugerimos que empiecen a pensar en la visión de una buena vida para su ser querido con discapacidades. Primero, pensar en lo que yo quiero, pensando que somos la persona con discapacidad o es la persona, nuestro ser querido con discapacidad, qué es lo que esa persona quiere y cómo procurar experiencias positivas de vida. Y también es muy importante pensar qué es lo que no quiero, cómo prevenir experiencias negativas de vida. Y lo que Inger sugiere es, a veces es más fácil o tenemos más a la mano pensar lo que no quiero. Entonces, bueno, por ahí podemos empezar. Si ya tengo claro qué es lo que no quiero, puedo empezar por ahí. Go ahead, Inger.
Okay, so just remember, we're trying to prevent those negative experiences in your life, and everybody's going to have them. So we just want to put them to the side and say, okay, I want to have a good life. So I want to have those disappear, and any experience that I have, I don't want to repeat it. So when we look at the form, just remember, we'll probably want to start with what your life experiences and the negatives of your life experience that you don't want to have going forward. You don't want to have that in the future.
Ok. Siempre piensen en eso, en que cuáles son las experiencias negativas también que no quiero que pasen. Es que ahorita vamos a empezar a ver unas cuantas herramientas que les queremos explicar para que les sirvan a ustedes para esa planeación. No sé si hasta aquí tienen alguna pregunta, ya sea en inglés o en español, como ustedes gusten. Inger, I'm asking if they have any questions at this point.
Okay.
¿Alguien que no? ¿Sí?
So we just remind them if they do have any questions to go ahead and put it in the chat box. And what we're going to do is at the end, we're going to come back to the questions. But if it's something that's pertaining to the form that we're working on, you want to go ahead and raise your hand and we'll get those answered. Because I know it's very hard to remember, oh yeah, I needed to ask her a question about this.
Ok, si tienen alguna pregunta, la pueden escribir en el chat para seguir fluyendo, pero si se refiere a la herramienta que vamos a estar viendo específicamente en cualquier momento, por supuesto pueden hacer el raise your hand, alzar la mano electrónicamente y atendemos las preguntas.
Yes, so if you raise your hand, we'll stop in any form that you want to have more questions about, because what we want you guys to do is after we go over the form later today, tomorrow, before we meet again, I want you to work on this form. And then you can tell us about the form on the next meeting. We'll discuss it. If you had any questions, you want to go a little further, because we do have other forms that trajectory that we'll be talking about later. We'll go into in depth of different past experiences, future things that you want to see for the future.
Ok, vamos a entrar en la materia, como les decía, de las herramientas. Y bueno, por favor, que les quede bien claro cómo funcionan las herramientas si tienen dudas, porque para nuestra siguiente sesión de la semana que entra, vamos a pedirles que trabajen con las herramientas, no todas, pero quizá algunas que digan, esta me sirve. Y la próxima vez nos podrán comentar el que quiera y compartir qué fue lo que encontraron o qué desarrollaron con estas herramientas. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
so everyone wants to have a good life.
Yeah, we have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick question. I'm taking screenshots of these forms, but are you going to send it anyway? email or
I
something?
sent, oh, did you not? Okay, I can send it to you because I sent it to, did you just register or?
¿Tú
Yes,
te
I did.
registraste?
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Mhm.
sounds
Okay,
good.
so
Thank
I'm
you.
put a note right here that I have to send it to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I may have it
I
where I
have a
can send it to you
question
tonight.
too.
Yes,
Sorry?
ma'am.
Hi, yes, I would like to know if we're going to be able to join again or to rewatch the
Yes.
workshop.
Yes, what I'm going to do is after we finish this one, you'll get a copy of the whole Zoom,
Presentation.
and then
Mhm.
you'll also get a copy of the PowerPoint will be in the Zoom.
Perfect. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so when we talk about a good life, we want to look at this form because it'll help us think about a good life, what it means to have a good life for you or your family members, while also identifying what you know you don't want. And
Mhm.
so with this one, if you think about this, I'll tell you, okay, for my vision, and you can use this form in anything that you want to see for the future. You can use this when you go on a job, what you know you don't want on a job and what you do want to have on that job. And so I'll just tell you some examples. For instance, you can use it also if I wanted to lose weight for the future. I can say, this is my vision. I want to lose 100 pounds. That will be my vision. And I will put that information right here because this is my vision. I want to be a size 8 in the future. So what I'll have to do is I'll start, and then we go down to what do I want? What I don't want, I don't want to keep this weight on. I want to lose weight. So I know that I don't want to eat fatty foods. I don't want to eat any more chips, which I really love chips, but okay. And I don't want to eat chocolate anymore because my vision is to lose weight and get to a pound that I feel comfortable with. So again, you can use this form in any way that you want. And I'll tell you another example. Christina, tell me when you want me to stop and then go back.
Yeah, that's okay. Bueno, no sé si, y creo que les quedó claro lo que explicó Inger, que aquí esta herramienta no es solamente, la estamos sugiriendo para trabajar en el futuro de sus hijos con discapacidad o personas adultas con discapacidad. Sin embargo, úsenlas para otro tipo de cosas, sirven para todo. Por ejemplo, el ejemplo que ella da es, oye, mi visión es que voy a bajar de peso y ahora sí me voy a poner lista con eso y voy a llegar a talla 8. Y lo que no quiero abajo es, no quiero volver a ser una persona con mucho sobrepeso por mi salud o por lo que sea. Just go ahead. I don't want to take too much in the
yeah, because what we want to do is, even if you're using this form for your child who is turning 17 and is going to be going off to college, what do you want to see for her future or his future? So that would be, I want to go to college. Then it'll be, what do I not want to have? I don't want to stay at home with my parents while I'm going to college. I don't want to have to walk. So another vision is for me to get a new car. Then I won't have to walk because that's not something that I want to do, is to walk to school every morning. So it's different ways that you can use this form.
Okay, that's what I explained.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, now when we talk about holistic focus across the family domains, what we're talking about is the whole life experience that you have, and that includes daily life and employment. That includes community living, and then we'll go back and talk about these in a little bit. Life, healthy living, safety and security, social and spiritual. What we want to see you, I mean, what do you want to do in building relationships and friendships? So yet again, we're talking about spirituality and also social, and advocacy and engagement. What am I doing? Okay, you can go ahead and explain and tell them that we're going to talk about this in depth about these different areas of the life domains before we go to the next worksheet.
Muy bien. Toda esta metodología de centrarnos en la persona, ustedes se habrán topado con que en la escuela les piden que piensen en ciertos ámbitos. En el doctor o en el médico les piden que piensen en ciertos otros ámbitos del futuro. Y resulta que luego se quedan pensando, pero no hemos considerado esto, no he considerado lo que a mi hijo o mi hija le gusta. es sociable, no es sociable, le gusta ir a la iglesia, no le gusta. Cada quien tenemos nuestros gustos y ámbitos de la vida que queremos diferentes. Entonces, el enfoque de estas herramientas es que se consideren todos los ámbitos de la vida de la persona. Y aquí no les voy a repetir los títulos de cada uno porque los tradujimos y aquí pueden ver de qué se trata cada uno de esos ámbitos. Inger menciona que ahorita en algunas de las herramientas nos vamos a ir a explorar más cada uno de esos ámbitos. Y si hay alguna duda, lo vemos ya con más detalle. Pero vamos a regresar a ellos, así que no se apuren. Y van a tener la presentación.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So just remember when we talk about daily life, what does this person, what a person does as part of their daily routine. We'll talk about that. The life of them going to school, all of that means daily life and employment. What do they do every day? Are they volunteering, if they're going to work, communication, routines, just the life skills that they've learned and they're applying in their daily life.
Ok, el ámbito de la vida diaria y del empleo, ahí están los detalles que debemos considerar.
So when we talk about community living, where are they going to live? Where is this person going to live? Are they going to live at home, especially if they're exiting out of school? Where are they going to live? How are they going to access community access? How are they going to use transportation and home adaptation? That's saying that if you're moving out of your parents' home and you know that you need something maybe tools for in the tub to get out of the tub to help you. If you're going to need a wheelchair, if you're going to need a ramp where you're living, that means that you're adapting that or modifying that to where you live.
Ok. Cuando hablamos de vida en la comunidad, debemos de irnos a planear hasta a lo mejor ponernos a pensar y considerar hasta ese detalle de, ok, si un día mi hijo, hija o yo con discapacidad quiero vivir de una forma independiente, ¿cómo necesito adaptar mi casa, mi forma de vida? Entonces, hasta ese detalle estamos mencionando. Go ahead, Inger.
Okay, and then we talk about healthy living, managing and accessing healthcare. How are you going to do that and staying well? How are you going to get your medication? How are you going to get to the hospital? If you need mental health, those are things that you have to think about. Behavioral health, development, wellness and nutrition, all of those have to take into part to have a good life. You must take part and understand that those things are going to be the needs that you'll need for daily living. So therefore, you have to plan all that out. And that's what we say to you guys when we're talking about holistic focus. That's just mean just your whole life. How does it adapt to helping you have a good life? And then we talk about safety and security. Now, we always think about safety and security. We all need that, no matter if you have a disability or not. Everyone needs that to stay safe and secure, and if able to, in the event that you have an emergency, be able to get some notice to get for help and well-being, guardianship. Who's gonna, those are some of the things, options you'll have to look at. Legal rights. Now, I'll tell you guys, when you're working with children that are aging out of school, when they turn 18, they know they take over all their rights. They're able to say what they don't and what they do want to go on for the future. So I would look into, we have some classes that are coming up about legal rights. We have them, different classes about that. We have the ABLE account. We have letter of intent. That is another training. We also have, which is coming up January 20th, I do believe, but it's on our website and it talks about, I lost my train of thought. It talks about the ABLE account. And then it also, let me look real quick. I'll get back to you guys and we'll send y'all, y'all can, Christina, it is on our webpage, all the information of all the different classes, because some of these things that we talk about, we have a training with all of that information. So it's one important thing. I want to talk to you about.
I'm sorry, Inger. Se puso a profundizar un poquito, Inger, de que después vamos a tener entrenamientos, ya los tenemos programados en nuestro calendario, de lo que son las cuentas ABLE, por ejemplo, para poder planear con seguridad el aspecto financiero y otros instrumentos. De hecho, al último les voy a platicar de las clases que tenemos mensualmente. Girali, ¿tienes una pregunta? Do you have a question, Girali? or no? Oh, a lo mejor.
No,
probably
no,
not.
I don't.
Oh, okay, okay. No
Okay.
problem.
Okay, but
We
just
thought you
remember,
already might
guys,
have
Oh,
if y'all
I'm
have a
gonna lower
question,
my
stop
hand now.
us.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
No problem. So just
ahead.
remember, we have a lot of classes on some of this information, and I want to share it with y'all some of the information. One thing is a big presentation that's coming up, and it's about I don't know why I keep losing my train of thought.
It's okay, go ahead.
Building a personal network. You
Right,
definitely want to
right.
be a part of that, because building a network is that you're building a network for everybody who's who's going to be working with that person with a disability. If it's the friend and you know your friend can be helpful in the event that you're unable to do that. So we're going to be talking about that in our meeting on the
November 18th.
18th.
Ok, vamos a tener un entrenamiento, tenemos entrenamientos mensuales, pueden verlos en nuestro calendario, pero, ay, perdón, pensé que nos estaban preguntando algo. Bueno, y entonces lo que les está comentando Inger es que tenemos uno
Dígame el número
que
de
es acerca
teléfono.
de, perdón, no sé quién está hablando porque se oye un poquito el ruido.
You need to
Un momento,
mute, Doris.
I'm sorry.
Ok, no
Veo que
problem.
alguien tiene el micrófono abierto.
Sí,
What's the
creo que ya.
question?
Ok, bueno, les comentaba que el 18 de noviembre tenemos un entrenamiento con alguien de Parent to Parent. Ella se llama Sonliner, se apellida, y va a ser acerca de cómo construir redes personales. Si alguna de ustedes quiere asistir, ya se pueden inscribir en nuestro sitio web.
Yes, because we do have a lot of things that also go along with our small group. And so just remember, one big thing is building a personal network. And what that is, again, is they will show you how to build a personal network dealing with your family, friends, including them in the health and welfare of that person with a disability, if you're unable to do that. So go onto our website. There are so many things, and letter of intent, as I said, the ABLE account. There's a lot of things that you would be interested in because it'll help you plan for the future.
Ok. No dejen de ver nuestro website. Y si tienen preguntas, nos llaman o nos mandan un email.
Okay.
Go
And
ahead.
then also just remember, you want whoever is going to be advocating for that person with a disability, you want to have all the knowledge and all the as you build a program for that person or daily routine for that person, someone needs to know who's going to advocate in case they may need a wheelchair, who's going to go out and work with the public to make sure they get what they need as they move through the community. Just so remember, and help them with setting goals, who's going to be that person that will be that and will be the drive to make sure that that person has a good life. So just remember also, you need to be engaged in every opportunity that is out there for a person with a disability, because they can be included in any activity that is going on in your neighborhood, in your community, in the state, in the city. They have every opportunity. You want them to be a part of events that happen in the community and in the city.
Quiero preguntar si alguien tiene alguna pregunta de algo que no haya entendido del inglés o vamos bien así. ¿Está bien? Bueno, si alguien tiene una pregunta, escríbanme. Si quieren que les traduzca algo, con mucho gusto nos detenemos. Y si no, bueno, para irnos más rapidito, aquí está todo traducido en texto. Sin embargo, oye, no entendí bien eso que dijo Inger, nos detenemos, no hay ningún problema. Go ahead, Inger. I was explaining that if they want to stop us to translate something in more detail, they can.
Yes. Okay. So just remember, as the advocate of that person with a disability that you are working with, you want to make sure that you advocate for any rights and to have them included in any activity. That's the most important. But overall, all of our holistic focus around the life domains is to work with every part of the life.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I love this form. I think it's very important that we look at this and dissect it and see every part of it, because it's asking you the question when it's dealing with, and for the life of me, I'm sorry, but I can't see it. Can you see it?
It's a little small. Está un poquito, el texto de la forma está un poquito chiquito, pero se las vamos a mandar. Lo malo es que no tenemos estas herramientas, no las tenemos traducidas al español, pero apóyense con quien puedan para ponerse a iniciar esas conversaciones con su familia, con las personas que conozcan, con quienes los apoyan todos los días, y ponerse a considerar cada uno de estos detalles y escribir lo que vayan descubriendo. Yo apliqué estas herramientas, no tengo hijos con discapacidad, pero sin embargo en un proyecto familiar apliqué estas herramientas y vieran cuánta información descubrí. O sea, lo pueden aplicar para iniciar cualquier tipo de conversación. Adelante. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's just all of the information that we just went over in the slide before. This is where you can document it for the future. You can make it a priority. If you think a priority could be that you want safe and security is a priority for you before you can move in your life. And if you move to a different place, the first thing you're going to think about is your safety. When you move out in the community, if you're working with other people, you're working at the store, how am I going to be secure when I get ready to go home? Who's going to pick me up on time if I'm driving? You know, so those things that you have to look at, but this is the form that you take from the slide before and you can apply it to what is a priority for you. Yeah.
Yes, we're not going to stop to translate everything just in case they do have questions. We
Okay.
can just stop.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so we can move on from this slide. Is that a yes for everyone?
Okay.
Okay, so this is a great form. Just work at it and you can take the 2 slides when you're working. Don't forget to look at the slide before and you can get some details on what could be a priority for you. And it's a great form. It'll help you plan for that profile that we're going to be doing later. And that we'll be working on the profile at the last meeting. And I think that's November 4th, if I'm not correct.
November 4th, sí. Noviembre
November
4 es
4th,
la
okay.
última de nuestras 3 reuniones y entonces consideren estas herramientas para trabajar y poder compartirnos algo que se pueda a más tardar el 4 de noviembre.
Okay. All right. Now, when we talk about working with a person with a disability, we always want to talk about what's important to versus what's important for. What matters in the individual, am I missing something? We support. So I made this example and I want to look, I took an example from I think it came from my children, some of this. And what I said okay, if I look at important to Nicholas is to drive his car. Okay, so when we look at what he's going to actually need, what's important, then it says in order for him to drive a motor vehicle in Texas, he must purchase and maintain car insurance. So that means that's something that's going to be important for him. That is, it's also not important just for him, but he has to have that. So that is something that is important. But on the other hand, driving his car is important too. So just remember that what's important to the individual and for what matters in the individual, we support. And then also when you go over here and you say, did I miss the English part of it? So, okay. Oh, I see what you did. You put it on the other side. So,
right.
So what's important to versus what's important for? Is it what's important to Nicholas to get insurance? Well, what's important for him? I mean, what he wants that's so important to him is to be able to drive his car. And then we go down and we say, CJ wants to be a gamer full time. That's what he wants to do. So what's important for him is that CJ maintain that full job. So he's able to pay his bills. So again, that's important for him. And this is what's important to him. Then we come over here.
Let me interrupt you a little bit, Ingrid.
Okay.
No sé si alguien tenga alguna duda de lo que se está considerando ahorita, porque a veces no nos ponemos a pensar que hay cosas que le importan al individuo con discapacidad, pero a lo mejor el individuo con discapacidad o nosotros mismos, que somos las personas que lo apoyamos, no estamos pensando qué es lo importante para que podamos conseguir lo que le importa a esa persona con discapacidad. Ahí es donde hay que diferenciar los dos aspectos, qué le importa a la persona, pero qué es importante que se considere que para que esa persona pueda llegar a lo que le importa. Y lo que comenta Lidia sí es, ¿qué tan en serio tomamos sus sueños? De esto se trata precisamente, Lidia, gracias. Esto, que no olvidemos considerar todos los aspectos importantes para lograr las ambiciones, los sueños, los proyectos de la persona con discapacidad. Y si la persona con discapacidad no puede discernir, no puede comunicarse de esa forma, ustedes que son quien la conocen perfectamente o más que otras personas, sepan qué es lo que le va a hacer falta y qué sueña y qué quiere, qué tipo de make clear the concept of
Okay,
important to
okay.
and important for.
And then we have one more example, and it will say what is important to this individual. And we have Julie, likes to watch CNN all day. Okay, what is important for her? If she does not take her medication, then she won't get well. So therefore, that's going to be important. This is going to be important for her to do this daily. And then, okay, once she takes her medication, then okay, no matter when she watches CNN, she can do that because that's something that she likes to do.
Okay.
So that's important to her. And what's important for her would be the medication. She needs to have her medication daily.
Perfect.
Okay. All righty. Oh, I love this form, integrated STAR. Now, it says individuals and family utilize an array of integrated supports to achieve the envision of a good life, including these that are publicly and private fundings and based on, so that would say if you are getting money from your family, that's going to be a private funding for you. And if you're going to be getting public assistance, say you get food stamps, you get SSI, things like that, that's going to be your funding. You have to qualify for that. And then also community supports that are available to anyone, relationships based on support, technology, and that takes into account the assets and strengths of an individual and the family. So this is a wonderful, I'm gonna try to, ask if everybody can hear it. I mean, can see it. I'm gonna try to make it, oops.
El ejemplo está en inglés, pero si tienen alguna duda de algo de traducir, por favor, digan.
So they do, yes?
¿Lo ven todos? Sí ven, ¿verdad? Sí. Yeah, they do see it.
Okay, so now let's talk about the person's strengths and assets. So let's say that one of Nicholas's strengths is that he's able to talk, if he's comfortable to speak in public. So maybe he wants to have, that's a good asset for him when he goes on a job and they may be doing public speaking. If he's good around people, he's a good communicator. That's some of the assets, strong assets that he would have to bring to a job. Now, what he's going to need if he needs technology. So what does he have now to what he'll need in the future to be successful on that job? And then next, when you talk about relationships, what friends does he have now? Does he need to go out and be in a support group to gain more friendships and feel comfortable in his life? Some people, you know, okay with staying at home watching TV and being alone, but then some people want to be out in the public and amongst other people and experience life in the community. So we have to look at what he has now to what he wants in the future as far as relationships. And then when it comes to technology, he may have a computer, but it doesn't save a lot of information. So then for the future, for him to be successful, he's going to have to get a new computer. And then when you talk about community based, is he going to be in a community? Is he going to go to church? Is that something he's going to want to keep up with? You know, some people want to go to choir rehearsal at the church. They want to be involved in church communities. I mean, church events. So that's something else that may be important for them. So we have to look at, are they able and do they have access to get there on time? Who's going to take them? Who's going to pick them up? Who's going to be responsible if they don't have good memory? Who's going to remind them that today is the day that you go to church and you may sing in a choir? You know, so things like that, that's going to be important to them. You say what they have now to what they have in the future. And then on this other side, so say a child is an infant, you have to look at, and you know, the child now has a disability, you have to look at what are you going to qualify for as far as SSI or, you know, any, you may have to get WIC, things like that. So what do you have now? Okay, you don't have anything now if that child's an infant, you're just getting started. But I have to let you guys know, if you don't have a medical waiver, if your child is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it takes about a long time. And I've heard of people saying that it takes about 15 years for them to get on they'll be on the waiting list for 15 years. So if you know you have a young child and you may need a waiver to help them in their daily living, you want to go ahead and get on that list now. So that's something, if you're not on it now, that's something you need to start working on, so you'll have that for the future.
Okay, is that way I can relate to them my example, maybe in Spanish?
Yes.
Ok, bueno, no sé si algunos de ustedes a lo mejor no están viendo la herramienta, no está, o sea, o están en su teléfono y no se alcanza a ver bien. Bueno, esta herramienta yo lo que quería platicarles así rapidito es, estamos concentrados en aplicarla al futuro, a la situación actual y el futuro de la persona con discapacidad, nuestro ser querido. Lo que explicaba Inger es, ok, ¿cómo estamos ahorita con respecto a los apoyos que tenemos en la comunidad y qué queremos o qué va a necesitar en el futuro? Así tan simple, no tiene que ser muy detallado, pero el chiste es ponernos a pensar en todo eso. ¿Cuáles son sus fortalezas, sus debilidades? ¿Cómo está ahorita y cómo quiere o debe estar en el futuro? Las relaciones que la persona, mi hijo, mi hija con discapacidad tiene, ¿cómo está ahorita? ¿Qué necesita para el futuro? Todo lo que sean programas gubernamentales para los que pueda ser elegible. A lo mejor si ahorita no estoy bien informada, me voy a salir a buscar esa información. Nosotros podemos ayudarles mucho con eso también, con la información. ¿Cómo está ahorita y qué necesita para el futuro? Entonces, si nosotros, yo a veces no soy una persona que suele escribir las cosas, sin embargo, el ponerme a haber hecho este ejercicio me ayudó, les voy a decir en qué. Por ejemplo, en el caso de mis papás que están a punto de retirarse, hace poco los fui a visitar, saqué esta forma porque yo estaba practicando las formas, les dije, a ver, ¿qué necesitan para su futuro? ¿Cómo estamos ahorita? ¿Qué quieren? Entonces inicié, ni siquiera tuve que seguir el formato, sino que inicié conversaciones con ellos. Descubrí tantas cosas que yo no sabía de mis papás. No sabía que mi papá a sus casi 82 años está pensando que ya va a cerrar su negocio y que quisiera ser asesor de otras personas, por ejemplo, profesionalmente hablando, de ingeniería. Quisiera él pertenecer a un club de lectura, por ejemplo. Mi mamá quiere volver a clases de baile. O sea, cosas así que yo no había considerado, no conocía. Ustedes que están con sus hijos y personas con discapacidad en todo ese tiempo y los conocen, bueno, ¿qué es lo que quiere? ¿Cómo se ve en el futuro? Yo sé lo que quiere para ser feliz, vamos a ponernos a hacer este ejercicio. Y como bien lo sugiere Lidia, es cierto, esto puede ir cambiando. Estas formas no son para guardarlas y para el resto de la vida. Van pasando años, va pasando el tiempo, ya intentó algo de lo que planeamos para el futuro. Quizá ya lo que queremos ahorita es o avanzar eso que ya intentó o actualizar a otra cosa. Estas formas son unos apoyos muy, muy grandes y es lo que queremos, que por favor las agarren y las practiquen, las llenen, les vamos, como si quien no las tenga todavía, se las vamos a mandar por email para que las impriman, las reimpriman, las reutilicen. Okay, Inger, I related them the example. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so now you get to see how some people work the form. Now, you see they have personal strengths and assets is that they're creative, communication style, they're funny, playful, kind, flexible, just all this different thing is expressing how this person, there are some of their personal strengths. And then, so when you talk about technology, we look at, may have a phone, but of course they may for the future need a phone, and they can use FaceTime, text messages to anyone. And also they use the gaming system, chats, video chats, just all of these things that they're able to use with technology. And then, and what they're trying to do, maintaining a relationship is their big thing. So when you look at all of this, it tells you that, of course, he's creative. So he's trying to create a good way of maintaining his relationships. And then, so when you talk about relationships, he wants to have family is included, have friends, classmates, teachers, neighbors, teammates, club mates, co-workers, therapists, DSPs, and then yeah, if he has a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it just depends on if it's a boy or a girl or however, they want to certainly be involved and keep relationships with all of these people. And then so then also when you look at the community base, it looks like virtual faith services. So we may want to watch TV, watch churches on TV. That may be something that may be interested to him. And so definitely he wants to be able to get his mail and also receive services that he's getting. And then he also wants to have a best buddies. And so the e-buddies, I'm not sure what that is, but these are all the things he want to continue in his life, in his daily life. And so we know now that we can talk to our doctor by email, by Zoom. Actually, you won't even have to step into his office anymore. You can say, hey, he'll say, we're having a meeting. So all of these things that he wants to keep, he wants to be able to talk to his doctor by email. And then also when it comes to eligibility, he wants to be able to attend school. Say he wants to go to college, and he needs financial aid. He wants to have that eligibility to know that he can continue his education. And he can also, have a day program, chats, and remote from work. He wants to be able to work from home. So certainly he's going to have to be able to be eligible to do all those things. So in order to maintain his relationships, he's going to be able to these are all the things that he wants to do. So this is how somebody would use the integration support star. But again, on the first one that we saw, they had on there the future, and they had now, and then they said for the future. So on that, just remember on that top, you can take the same form, and I think it's easier. What do you think, Christina, to use the other form? So to say what you have now?
Lo que decía Inger es este es solo un ejemplo, no, o sea, es un ejemplo de cómo lo pueden usar, pero la forma que vimos anteriormente era un poquito más completa porque tiene el presente y tiene el futuro. Es como sea, la pueden usar, se las vamos a mandar y de verdad, úsenla iniciando conversaciones y van a ver que de ahí les van a salir un montón de ideas. Ella sugiere, Inger, y yo también, que utilicen la del now and future. Okay, yes.
Right. So just remember, they can use either form. I don't know if I sent them both of the forms. So certainly if you would like to have just this star where it just talks about where you just label the technology, the personal strengths and assets, the relationship, and then eligibility, and then also the community-based things that you want to be involved in. So if I didn't send you this form, you're welcome to have, so you can have both forms. If you can choose to fill out this one, or you can fill out the other one, whichever one that helps you to understand what's going to be a good life for them, because it's very important. And as you're doing these forms, please have the person that with you that has a disability, so they can say to you as you move on to these different areas what they want, because sometimes we think that we know what they want, and that's not always true. So any form that you're working to get to a better life for them, please include them in all of your planning with your family, because this is a good form to fill out with your family, so they know what his strengths are. And you may work with them every day and they may not see it, but it may come a time that somebody else has to be responsible for him. And pulling out these forms is a great way to say, hey, this is his strength, this is what technology he has, this is what relationships he wants to maintain, and anything like that. It's all written down. So Christina, I'm gonna let you repeat that.
No, it's okay, Inger. I think they're getting it. Lo que quiere Inger es que de verdad no se olviden de que una vez que trabajen con estas herramientas, las tengan siempre presentes, las tengan en su portafolio y siempre traten de referirse a ellas a la hora de referirse a los planes de su hijo en todos los ámbitos. Así es. Go ahead. Yes, Inger.
Okay, great. Because if y'all remember, if you have a question, don't hesitate, raise your hand and we can stop. If you didn't get these forms, I'll be sending them out to you. And if I did not send you this form that just has those different areas on it, let me know in the chat box and I'll send it to you right away.
Lydia has requested that we send both forms
Okay.
to them, if that's okay.
Okay, well, I'll send that form, this extra form to everybody. If I haven't sent it, I'll send it tomorrow, first thing.
Perfect.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next slide. Now, I like this one because it tells you about the person. It talks about who loves and cares for this person. And so you can write down, okay, this person, okay, say it's your children, it's your husband, it's your sisters. You can put that information down. And then who else makes him or her feel loved? So definitely you want to put that down. So because sometimes people will say, you know, we have a significant other, we would say that that's the person that loves me the most, but you forget about your other siblings, your friends, they care about you just as much. So you can go ahead and add them on to this form, but there's also another form that I'm going to share with you too. I'll send that tomorrow too. It's more in depth to set the roles of the family member, to map out who's going to be responsible for in the event that the person who is caring for them on a daily basis, that you can mark that down. And when you set in your groups with your families and you talk about this is a good form for us to plan for the future in the event, say, and I'll take for example when we thought about, you know, my dad is the one who's taking care of my mother now, but in the event that he should pass away, who is going to be responsible for taking care of her? Who is going to be her daily caregiver? Or was she going to move in with us? And how was that going to look? And how is it going to affect the family? So when you think about that, there's another form that details who is going to be responsible for making sure they get their bills paid, who's going to be responsible for taking them to church, who is going to be responsible to make sure that they the financial part of their living, say paying their rent, paying for doctor bills, in the event that they have to go to the hospital, who's going to do all that? So this is a great form to kind of tell you about, you know, who's actually committed to doing for this person. But the other form is another form, and I think it'll be in our other class. I think I had it in detail to talk about that. So you'll get to see that other form, but I will definitely go ahead and send it to you.
Okay.
So just remember, look at this form and point out, you know, who's going to play these roles.
Ok, les comentaba en el chat que esta herramienta de mapeo es espectacular porque ustedes a veces todos dicen, oye, pues mi hijo con discapacidad, yo ya tengo planeado la tutela y yo ya tengo planeado tal otra cosita detalle, pero a veces no nos ponemos a pensar detalladamente quién es la persona que no nada más lo va a cuidar, sino que le va a proporcionar afecto, cariño, que le va a hacer el piojito que le gusta en la cabeza, que, o sea, rascarle la cabeza. ¿Quién le va a seguir a enseñar? Se va a ocupar de tener tiempo de enseñarle cosas que le gusta aprender. ¿Quién puede estar ahí por todo el tiempo cuando yo no pueda estar? Ese tipo de planeación tan detallada es necesario conversarla con las personas porque pues no podemos asumir que alguien lo va a hacer. Esta herramienta de mapeo de los roles recíprocos nos va a ayudar a pensar en ese tipo de detalles. Yo al hacer mi mapeo de roles, por ejemplo, sí me di cuenta, ay, o sea, yo no intimo con tanta gente, o sea, y no es que sea un problema hoy en día, yo estoy muy contenta, pero nunca he platicado con alguien qué pasaría si en el futuro, no sé, falta alguien que le proporcione tal o cual cosa a nuestras hijas. Entonces, realmente te pone a pensar y te pone a decir, oye, ¿será que necesito extender mi red de cuidados? Y bueno, como les decía, el 18 de noviembre ya se pueden inscribir en nuestro website a una metodología que es para construir y ampliar las redes de contactos que nos van a ayudar a cuidar a nuestros hijos con discapacidad en el evento en que necesitemos ayuda de los padres o que ya no vamos a estar presentes. Y lo que dice Inger es que hay otra herramienta de mapeo con más detalle para que se pongan a pensar, que dice, a ver, piensen qué persona esto, piensen qué persona esto. Entonces igual les vamos a mandar ambas formas para que las vean y las trabajen. List. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Ingrid.
Okay, so just remember, this is a form to kind of get you started, to thinking about what that person is going to need for the future and who's going to be responsible. And I am going to send you the detail of the form that kind of that answers some more questions that will be helpful for your family in the planning.
Ajá, exactamente, como les decía, es para que sepamos qué personas nos pueden ayudar un poquito más en la planeación.
Okay, now we're at the questions. I saw about 16 questions, so let's see.
Well, we were solving all of them mostly. There were some comments. No sé, ahorita vamos a abrirnos a preguntas, pero sé que es mucha información y que pues obviamente ahorita no tienen presentes al lado de ustedes las herramientas. Y bueno, van a tener tiempo, al menos una semana, para ponerse a trabajar en un par de ellas si pueden, y después nos pueden platicar. Pero, ¿qué dudas tienen ahorita al respecto? Si alguien nos quiere preguntar algo, quiere abrir su micrófono o... ¿Alguna pregunta? Well, let me just say, Lydia is asking if these are digital forms. They have to be printed, right?
Yes, you have to print them, but if you would like, I can go ahead and I think I can, but you can make them digital there's a way on your part, when I send them to you, I won't send them as a PDF. So therefore you are able to click onto your computer and type on it.
Se los vamos a mandar en formato PDF y bueno, cada quien si tiene su Adobe Reader o como se llama en la aplicación donde puedan modificar formas de PDF, lo puede hacer electrónicamente cada quien o si no se pueden imprimir. Es que no las tenemos en formato 100% electrónico.
Perfecto, pero sí es una buena manera porque así es más fácil acceder a esa información y en vez de borrar y escribir, poder ir y volver a escribir y agregar aquí lo que hace falta.
Ajá, exacto, sí. O sea, hay manera, sí, hay manera.
What did she say?
Yeah, that it's a good idea to have them electronically because that way you can keep maintaining and updating them and working
Yes,
with them.
yes.
Of course.
Yes, because what we want you guys to use that is you would go back and look at it on a monthly or yearly base because things change for what they couldn't do in the past, they probably can do now. So do they need that extra assistance? Anything? So yes, I will send that information so you can keep it. And what I've noticed that you can take a booklet and put those forms in there. And as they grow and change, you can change out the forms and then you can go back. If you see that's something that you haven't worked on and he or she wanted to do for the future, you can always go back and change that. So yes, I will send all the forms if they should have come not as a PDF so you can be able to write on them. So once you click on them, you should be able to go in and be able to write any information in there and change it daily and you know, do what's necessary to as this person grows. And can everybody put in the chat box for me the age of your child? Because there may be some more information. We have some new programs coming, especially if you need help with an IEP, there is some information and I can share that with our coworkers and maybe she will give you a call because it's called intensive IEPs. And Christina, can you let them know a little bit about what it's about?
Ajá, bueno, es que tenemos también un programa, aunque este no lo damos no lo da Inger, pero tenemos otro programa donde estamos ahorita dando apoyo intensivo de IEP para los niños, sobre todo los que están un poquito más chiquitos, en la primera edad del kindergarten, la primaria y todo eso. Entonces, por eso ella, Inger dice, oiga, pues me pueden poner gracias, que están contestando la edad de sus hijos, porque queremos también decirles que tenemos ese programa. La primera sesión empieza el 25 de octubre, pero va a haber varias fechas, no tiene que ser ese día. Para si a alguien le hace falta, por favor, mándenos un email o háblenos a la oficina si quieren participar en ese curso intensivo de IEP, que también son 3 sesiones, pero eso es 100% IEP. Okay,
right.
I'll let them know.
Okay, yes, because we have a lot of other, this is a very important program that we're working right here because we're looking at financially, how are you going to be stable for where you are now and to where you go to the future. So if you could plan out all those things, if you have a child that wants to go to college, start planning for that. If you know you need a Medicaid waiver, go ahead and start working on that. So because that is going to be one of your community supports that you have. So if you know that you have questions about any health concerns for your child and you want to know about medical questions that you may have, you want to go out and reach to the doctor so you can get whatever it's going to take for your child to have a good, successful life. So just remember that. And so that's what we're working on. So you take all of those documents that we're working on today, the ones that we'll be working on next time, to where we get to the profile, and we'll start adding that information, and you'll start thinking, just remember, who was it that wanted to know about how you can write on the form? Was it
Lydia,
Lydia?
yes. Mhm.
Okay, thank you so much for that, because yes, these are forms that you can use for the future. So just know that if you have any questions as you're working on the forms, go ahead and give us a call. We will answer any question. If we can assist you, we will. And if you ask any question other than the forms, we can certainly get you connected with someone that may be able to answer your question. So just know that we're here to help. And as you start your networking, and we are part of your network. Now we are part, like your family, friends. You can call us up and we can answer a question, and we can try to assist you in any way possible for the future. So any question that you have, don't hesitate to give us a call. And
Right.
now,
Mhm.
this is something. Oh, did you want to say what I just said, or no?
See, no, that's okay. Go ahead and tell them about the survey, and then we can.
Okay, we have a survey because of our grant. We have to make sure that everyone is filling out a survey, and it's just for us to improve what we are doing right now, or something we need to add, or something we may need to take away. But just know that this web, and it's very short. It's maybe what, 5 questions, I believe, and it is just information that they're asking you about the program. You know, are we helping you? Are you getting the information that you need? So just know that if we are not giving you the information that you need, please give us a call, because we can get the information. Okay,
Right.
so
Okay,
thank you
sí,
so much.
Es muy importante que nos contesten esta encuesta, por favor. Creo que de aquí no lo pueden tener en link, pero sí. Ahora, quiero también decirles, Inger, should we ask them to work a little bit on those forms for next time?
Yes, we want them to start working on those forms for our next class. So if you get to where it's something that you don't understand, we can work through it together, because we'll be going through the forms.
Como les decía, vamos a esperarla para cuando nos veamos la siguiente semana de 6 a 7:30 máximo. Tratamos de que sea un poquito más breve. Cualquiera de ustedes que nos quiera comentar cuál fue su experiencia con alguna de las herramientas, se lo vamos a agradecer muchísimo, porque de esa forma no hay respuestas malas. No, a nadie le vamos a decir, ay, oye, te salió mal, no lo hiciste bien. Al contrario, es para que compartamos la experiencia de cómo te sirvió a ti esa herramienta. Me estás dando una buena idea, a mí me sirvió de otra forma. Es muy importante compartirlo, porque nos damos cuenta de la versatilidad de estas herramientas. Entonces, no se olviden de que son 3 clases y el próximo jueves nos vemos. Lidia, pero bueno, antes de pasarle la palabra a Lidia, ¿alguien quiere preguntar algo, alguna cosa específica, o les queda claro?
Thank you so much. Great information.
Ay, gracias.
Okay, so just
Lydia?
remember, you guys, if you want to share, if you don't want to share your paperwork that you're working on, you don't have to, but we'll ask you in the next session to and you may, if you don't ask the question, you may hear someone else answer the question that you wanted. So just remember that we're going to share a little bit more. You'll be able to share a little bit more with us, because it'll help your other people in the group if they were stuck on how to fill out a form. And sometimes we forget until somebody else will remind us of something. Like, as you see, Christina reminds me a lot of what I need to talk about. So just remember, we're here to help, and you don't have to share if you don't want to, and it's okay. But we're just here to support you for the future.
Right.
So we're going to say to you guys, gracias, and thank you so much. And we'll see you guys at the next training. Can you give them the next date, Christina, I believe it's the 28th.
Ajá, octubre 28 de 6 a 7 y media. Y Lydia is going to tell a few words to the group.
Okay, okay. All righty, well, we'll see you guys. You have a wonderful
Just
evening.
don't disconnect yet.
No,
Adelante, Lidia.
don't leave me. I just want to say thank you, Inger, so much for the information. Very grateful that you're here. And Cristina, muchas gracias por traducir a las familias. Yo lo que quería comentarles es que no se sientan incómodos que porque no entiendan o no se sientan incómodos porque mi niño está muy joven, está muy chiquito y todavía no es momento. Yo creo que nunca es muy temprano ni tampoco muy tarde para hacer. Lo importante es empezar y
Así
poder
es.
trabajar con las familias, trabajar con ideas de que tengan y tampoco se sientan mal si el próximo jueves no llenaron el formulario porque no tuvieron tiempo, igual vengan. No digan, "Ay, no,
Exacto.
yo no tienen nada, no voy a ir porque me ven la tarea y no la hice". No es cuestión de tarea, es cuestión
Exacto.
de apoyo, de trabajar y por favor, los esperamos el próximo jueves también. Gracias,
Ujú.
Cristina. Thank you so much, Miss Clark.
Gracias
Oh,
a
you're
todos.
welcome.
Gracias, Lidia, y a todos.
Okay,
So
we'll see you at the
we'll
next
see you
class.
next week. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm gonna
Gracias.
stop
Thank
sharing
you,
my
thank you.
screen now.
See you. Bye-bye.
Nos vemos.
Nice.
Gracias, Lidia.
Gracias, Cris. Gracias a todos. Big Little JC. Nos
Gracias,
vemos
Lidia.
el jueves también.
Bye-bye.
Adiós.
Gracias. Bye-bye.
Gracias.
Besos.
Bye. Thank you so much, Miss
You're
Clark.
welcome. See you next time.
We'll see you
Bye-bye.
Thursday. Yes, ma'am. We will.
Right.
I think I'm in the dark.
I
I never remember to turn my lights on.
We can see your beautiful face. Don't worry.
You are illuminated. Glowing. You look like glowing.
Gusto verte, Lidia.
No.
La persona que es George's iPad, ¿quién es? ¿No sabemos?
No.
Nunca nos dijo. A ver si
No.
nos dice. Y bueno, Argelia sí es de tu grupo, ¿verdad, Lidia? Sí es de tu
señora.
grupo. Ok, bueno, porque si no se registró, no sé si se registró. Si no, pues yo le pregunto ya sus datos.
Ok. Y yo puedo preguntar también por el grupo de apoyo si alguien se conectó y no recibió la información y se la enviamos.
Ándale, perfecto. Sí, mil gracias. Gracias, Lidia.
Gracias, Cris. Gracias.
Nos vemos la próxima semana.
Thank,
Beso.
thank you
See
so
you
much.
next time.
Thanks.
Bye. Good night.
Bye bye.
Good night.